Mining update, lesson about the industry and job hunt video. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and in today's video I'm going to update you on the prices. The lesson's going to be about how the industry's changed over the last 12 months, and we're going to look at the prices in a number of the different minerals to show you what's happened with that. And we're also going to have a talk about automation again, because that's where it's the big reason that the jobs have moved. And if you had set yourself up to get a shutdown job or a civil construction, or you went and got yourself a whole heap of tickets to get into that sort of area of the industry, then you're probably going to have a bit of a rethink about where your actual jobs are going to be that you're going to have a realistic chance of getting, because unfortunately with some of those areas there's not a realistic chance of getting a job at the moment. And we'll go into more detail in that in the job hunt video that we do at the end. We'll go through the actual jobs, we'll put them into Seek, and we'll have a look at what's going on. But first of all, let's have a look at the prices. So the gold price is up significantly again. It's over $4,000 an ounce. So it finished the spot price at $4,121 an ounce. So it's going to cost a bit more than that if you go down to the Perth Mint and buy it. So that's a nice high price. Copper's back up over $14,000 a tonne Australian. And if we move over into the coal price, coal's $113.75 a tonne US, which is down a little bit, which unfortunately is moving in the wrong direction. And the iron ore price is at 104 and 11 cents, and that's sort of tracking sideways at the moment with everything that's going on in the world. So one of the big things that the problems that's going on in the industry at the moment is the prices of things. So all I've done is put in what's going on with nickel into Google so you can do the search yourself, and as you can see there's an oversupply at the moment, and Indonesia and their big nickel mines have led the charge on that. China's also really gone after nickel in a big way, and it's caused a rather large slump. Now it's still up around the $24,500 a tonne Australian, but when it was going better, you know, it was up around $45,000-$50,000 Australian a tonne. So Nickel West in Cambodia has suspended their, or BHP Nickel West has suspended their production in their Nickel West operation in Cambodia, which is a really big thing. They've put it all into care and maintenance so they can bring it out again. Normally what happens with these cycles, the prices go down, the mine shut down, the oversupply gets sold off, the price starts to rise back up again, and as soon as the price hits the point where you need more supply, then these mines will start opening again. And even the Western Australian government has recognised the fact that there's a problem with the nickel price, and they've put a temporary rebate on the royalties for the next 18 months for prices below $20,000 US a tonne, like they are at the moment. So there's a big problem with the EV sector. That's not going quite as well as everybody thought it was, so there's a bit of a slump. Contrary to popular belief, the world's going through a bit of a downturn at the moment. Things aren't as rosy as they say they are around the world everywhere, and that's why there's been a bit of a slump in the nickel price. And moving on from the nickel price, we move into the lithium price, and that's gone down by more than 80% on its peaks in 2022. Now, the other thing is that there was an oversupply, and there was softening demand, and now, but what's happening is that early in 2025 they're expecting a supply shortage to kick in as the demand from China with the batteries that they're putting in everything kick up, and they move to the next level. They reckon the Chinese car companies that are building these cars, these electric cars, some of the best in the world, and even give Elon a run for his money. So that's where the demand is, and that's where it's going. So hopefully that price will pick back up, and that will push the mining industry along. But the big thing about these two things is it's wiped out a lot of these jobs that were going around the country. Now, this is a map with all the copper and gold mines up on it. I haven't bothered putting the nickel and the lithium mines on it at the moment, or the other batteries materials that they're using, because most of the stuff's in a bit of a slump. Now, some of those mines are still operational and they are looking for people, but it's the same skills with the underground mines, with the lithium and the nickel, that they were looking for before with the copper and the gold. So if you do the training, it schools you in on how to do all the hard rocks. So the training covers everything but coal, so that you can have a look at that. But the point that I'm trying to make at the moment is that there's been a bit of a downturn. It's gone for a couple of years, which it normally does, and then the demand kicks back in because the oversupply dwindles away, and they need to open more mines and get things going again, and the price goes up. And that's basically what they're predicting here. Now, the other thing, so prices is the first big thing. So how that affects the whole of Australia is with your shutdown and your civil work and all that sort of stuff. Particularly, BHP had a really big project with Nickel West. They were shutting the smelter down, and they were going to do an 18-month shutdown on it, like a rebuild on it, and all that got cancelled. And so that's really put a big dent in the shutdown work, as well as the lithium price. There's a whole heap of lithium mines that have been put into care and maintenance, or they've just been stopped dead in their tracks. So the civil projects that were associated with that, with getting all the infrastructure in place, they've all been shelved for the moment. It'll all come back around, and it'll all come back up. But, you just got to understand, for the next, sort of 12 to 18 months to 2 years, the places to look are the gold and the copper mines, and where they need people, where they actually need physical bums in seats, is hard rock underground and surface exploration. And the reason why I don't say surface truck driving is because of all the driverless trucks. And I know we've gone through this a couple of times already, but I just wanted to bring it up again, because once again my maths has let me down with something that I said in my last video. I was talking about the 25 truck drivers being replaced by one person in Perth, and that would make it a 25 truck drivers for one autonomous controller in Perth, and that would make it $3 million worth of wages to $300,000 worth of wages. It should have been $75,000 worth of wages. So if you count those 25 trucks, if they're on site, they normally have 4 crews, so it's 4 people to drive the truck continuously 24/7. And it's the same thing with the controllers in Perth. You'd need 4 people to run the 25 trucks continuously. So it's 100 people versus 4 people. So 100 people at 120,000 a year, you're looking at 12 million. 4 people at 75 to 80,000 a year, you're looking at 300 to 320,000 a year. So that's a huge reduction in wages. It's a huge amount of money that they're saving. Going with their 360 trucks, you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars a year that they're saving in wages. So that's the issue with trying to get a job on the surface at the moment. That's why all the surface mines are trying to put the driverless trucks in wherever they can. Like I said before, they can't establish the exclusion zones in the underground mines around the country with the driverless trucks, so they need bums in seats, and they're going to need people to drive trucks for the extended future. With the underground trucks, I can really see a situation that they're driving driverless trucks on the freeways, on the main roads, before they're actually doing it underground, just purely because of how confined it is and what we've done in the past with remote control vehicles underground and how that's affected people. So we've had a fair few fatalities back in the day when they first started using the driverless stuff and the remote control stuff, and that's where all the exclusion zone rules come from. So they're not going to want to change that anytime soon, and that's why it's a really good area of the industry to get into. It's going to have your longevity because they're going to keep needing bums in seats. So if we move over to our next one, making yourself an easy win for the employers. This is one of the ones that I wrote a little while ago, and like I talk about in this article here, and you can have a look at the video that's down here about educating yourself. The best way to get yourself a job at the moment is to educate yourself to how all the mine works. they experience a lot of failure. All right, so they get a lot of people come through that fail, so they're looking for anybody that's done any research to try and educate themselves to how it all works, so they're not going to fail as well. And just on a point, our student that we made our plan for the work ready last week in last week's video, they've had a success. They've got an interview with a big owner operator at the end of next week, so congratulations on the interview, well done. And again, it's a person that's come from a diverse background and used the training to educate themselves, followed the instructions with the resume. They did the work ready package, so we did the resume for them, turned a 10-page resume into 2 pages, a mining friendly one that's specifically targeting the mining jobs, and it's resulted in an interview with a really good company. So it's a good result all round, and now it's like I say, it's down to you to show them that you've studied and you've learnt the information and you're ready for what you're about to embark on. And if you show them that you're ready, they're more than happy to engage with you, because like I said, they have so much failure. It's 3 in 5 fail in the first 6 months, and it's been like that forever. Every time we go through a great big boom where they have to put lots of people on all at once, like they've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years now, it's just chase your tail time. They just roll through people, and it's not always, you think that people don't get up there and don't try and all that sort of stuff, and you get a certain percentage of that, but you also get a certain percentage of people that just get screwed over, unfortunately, just because of circumstance. Because it's not like safety and training do a lot of training. They end up doing a lot of paperwork in these booms, and what ends up happening is that you get a buddy to show you how to do the job, and then you're totally left in the lap of the gods with how good the buddy is. And that's why the training's so good. It teaches you everything that the buddy should be showing you down the hole, so the culture and how it all works and all that sort of stuff it goes into. So if you do get somebody that's a poor communicator, you can just jump in with them and go with them, and make it all work for yourself. And what ends up happening after they realise that you're switched on and know what's going on and you're making them look good, they end up becoming your first best friend. So that's what's going on with mining at the moment. If you want to get in, the easiest way to do it is to make yourself an easy win for the mining employers by teaching yourself how it all works. And so let's have a look at where the jobs are. There's jobs all over the country. If you type underground into Seek, you'll see all the jobs come up. So they're looking for people in Dubbo and Parks. And like I keep constantly saying in these videos, with experienced, like with the truck and the nipper and the offsider roles, of course they want experienced people because they don't want to muck around and go through the training process. But the reality is that anybody with 12 months truck driving experience, they don't want to be a truck driver anymore. They want to be somebody on service crew or somebody on pace crew. They want advancement because it pays a lot more money. So a pace fill role like this, they'd want to chase down. But there's lots of stuff around the country. So there's a truck driving job in New South Wales. Newmont at New South Wales, at Cadia, they've got the job still up, so they must be still looking for people. This is a recently reopened mine in WA with Redpath, and they'll be having to source lots of people for that. There's just jobs everywhere. Underground truck driver, mining entry-level roles, Calibre Resources Solutions, Mount Isa, they've taken people from us in the past and continue to do so. But it's down to you. Once they see that you've done the training on your resume, the majority of people get phone calls and get interactions because, you've done the training and you've got something to offer. But you've actually got to study and you've got to be able to walk the walk and talk the talk. Just doing the training's not a golden ticket. You've got to back it up with a bit of study. But if you do that, as you can see, there's lots and lots of jobs around the country that you can apply for. And if you have a look at some of the other ones that are a bit more traditional, like mining traineeships that people go for, because of the driverless trucks, a lot of these traineeships have gone. And as I've talked about before, the underground doesn't do traineeships. They do sink or swim entry-level jobs because they need you up to speed as soon as possible. There's a few 2-in-1 jobs around with the traineeships, but there's not a lot around. You see Programmed have got their stuff up again, but they're really the only ones that are doing it, and it's not It's not like that they're an owner-operator, they're a labour hire company, so are you buying into 12 months worth of traineeship, or are you buying into a full-time job? That's the other thing that I always ask people about. And with the entry-level jobs underground, the majority of those are full-time jobs with the employers. So as you can see, you know, you got entry level, it's $35 an hour. It is, you know, the money gets sucked out of it, unfortunately, because of the oversupply of people. And that's just going to happen as more places go driverless, and there's more experienced truck drivers chasing those truck jobs. You'll see, there's lots around. So if we put truck driver mining in, you'll see that there's not that much. You know, there's the jobs that are in here are mostly underground, all around the country. There's a few that are on the surface, but the ones that are on the surface are all 100% looking for experienced people, because they've got the choice of experienced people. And as you can see, there's lots of places around that are looking for people. And the last one we'll have a look at is the mining shutdown. And if we go through here, you'll see the big thing that strikes you is the price difference. Like, you know, riggers back in the day when it was all going crazy, it was $80 an hour plus, and now it's $50. And it's, you know, the same with mining shutdown. $40 is the lowest point. There's trade assistant roles around. There are people looking for next year already. Shutdown works, trade assistants, shutdown, $44 flat rate for January the 9th. It's like there's an oversupply of people, and whenever there's an oversupply of people, the wages go down straight away, especially in mining. Mining's really ruthless like that with the wages. You just have to look at what the iron ore people are doing with the driverless trucks. They're trying to save themselves hundreds of millions of dollars a year in wages. So if you've got an oversupply, and, you know, 2 years ago you were paying $80 an hour or $70 an hour for a trades assistant because you had to, because there wasn't a lot of people around that were doing those jobs because everything was going crazy with lithium and all that sort of at the time, and nickel and all that sort of stuff, and there was lots of jobs around. Now you've got twice as many people to look at for half as many jobs, and so instead of $80 an hour, you know, you can start it at $40, and as long as you've still got a line, you could probably bring it down lower than that. And that's just what happens, unfortunately. So if you're trying to get into the industry now, the best way to get in is to educate yourself to how it all works. And to do that, you can use the sponsors training, the DIY package or the work ready package. We've got a number of different packages. They take Afterpay and Zip and PayPal. So the DIY package comes with all the online training and full instructions on how to redo your resume and interview prep. The 3-step plan package comes with the resume service from Jess and her company, and the work ready comes with the shift boss to help prep you. So it becomes our job to make sure you've understood all the mining information. We do interview prep with you, come up with a plan of where and how you're going to get in, redo your resume, all that sort of wonderful stuff. And so if you want one of these jobs that are around the country, the easiest way to get in is to learn how it all works. And if you can actually talk to the employer and show them that you know what you're getting yourself into, it goes a hell of a long way, purely because they have so much failure. And a lot of these entry-level days that they go and do, which our work-ready person is going to go and do with their interview and all that sort of stuff, is more trying to give you a realistic understanding of what you're getting yourself into. So basically they try and scare the shit out of you, you know, telling you how difficult it's all going to be, and then they take it from there. So I hope you found that interesting. And if you've got any questions, or you've got a $35 question that you'd like Jess to ask, we've had a few of them roll in, which we'll be asking in the not too distant future. So you don't have to pay for your response, you don't have to pay for getting your questions answered. Please send them through. And if you can share the video around and like and subscribe the channel. Thanks.